Well, welcome into episode 2 of What's the Lingo, hosted by your boy Armani Lingo, and we got an exciting one for you guys today. A lot to dive into and a lot to talk about, so we're going to get straight into it. But what is the lingo for today? Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles played at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. And if you guys watched what I watched, it was, it was not a close game. Final score in this one, Philadelphia 40, Kansas City 22. And don't let those 22 points fool you because those were garbage touchdowns towards the end for Kansas City. It was not close at all. Not a close one. Philadelphia came in with a game plan, and they stuck with it for all 4 quarters. You can argue they dominated all 4 quarters until, towards the end of the fourth quarter. But, I want to kind of start off with this. It's interesting because I thought if Philadelphia, in order to win the Super Bowl, they needed to get Saquon Barkley going. And they needed to get him going early to, help out Jalen Hurts, create that play action, and open up the playbook for Kellen Moore in that offense. But that wasn't the case here tonight. I mean, Saquon Barkley, 25 carries, 57 yards rushing. Jalen Hurts had 11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown rushing. So for all you Jalen Hurts haters out there, must hurt today. But no. I think the Super Bowl MVP definitely belongs to Jalen Hurts. I mean, I do think the defense had a bigger role than Jalen Hurts today. They absolutely shut down Patrick Mahomes, and we'll get to the defense side of the ball in a second. But yeah, this was a big game for Jalen Hurts. I mean, proved a lot of people wrong, and he had a solid performance. In the air, he was 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. So, very solid performance for the Super Bowl MVP. And, when I hate the fact when people use the excuse, oh, that quarterback has a lot of talent around him, so let's take away his accomplishments and whatnot. And it's like, well, name a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl and hasn't had talent around him, whether that's on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. Tom Brady had Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and arguably the best coach in the NFL, and Bill Belichick. Arguably. Peyton Manning, when he was on Denver, had that great all-time defense led by Von Miller. And I think the DC or defensive coordinator was Wade Phillips at the time. So, and then you think of who's another quarterback? I mean, Patrick Mahomes. People don't talk about Steve Spagnuolo a lot, even though his defense got creamed tonight. And I think Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl, he had Tyreek Hill, and he has Travis Kelce. I think when he's still in his prime. Which I do think Travis Kelce is now kind of, aging and just out of his prime. Not the same as he used to be. But, yeah, that excuse of, you have so many weapons around you kind of puts you at not a disadvantage, but you're not as accomplished, as some of these other quarterbacks. It just doesn't make sense to me. All quarterbacks that won a Super Bowl, all successful quarterbacks had great teams or great teammates around them. So that whole thing, about Jalen Hurts needs to stop. Now, look, I mean, when it comes to talent-wise, I do think guys like, Mahomes, I mean, not tonight, but Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and really, I think those guys, I think all of them, talent-wise, are ahead of Jalen Hurts. But hey, He's a Super Bowl MVP. Had a solid, Super Bowl performance. And, shutting a lot of the haters out. Now, something I really want to talk about is if you were to truly give a Super Bowl MVP to the front office, it's Howie Roseman, man. I mean, fans, that's the type of GM teams and fans want. I mean, this guy hits on all of his draft picks. Matter of fact, I saw this stat of all the people he has drafted for this Super Bowl team. Pull it up real quick. Take a look at this list. I mean, on this Super Bowl team, Howie in that front office drafted Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, which, man, I can't believe that kid, Cooper, is only 22 years old. That's my age. That's crazy. Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Jordan Mailata, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Dallas Goedert. And I'm not talking about the free agency pickups he's had and A.J. Brown. So, as a Cowboys fan, it's the total opposite from Jerry Jones. I mean, like I said, that's the guy that everyone wants in their front office, making those aggressive, smart decision moves in the draft. And look, this Philadelphia Eagle team is going to be a problem for the next, I would say, 5 years. I mean, they got as I mentioned on the defensive side, they got young players on their side that are very talented. I mean, Cooper DeJean, this is his rookie year, 22 years old. And they got so much talent on that side of the ball, it's scary. And not even get into the offense. I mean, when you say, it's funny, when you think of Devontae Smith, he could be possibly your third behind, what's his name? Jahan Dotson. I mean, today Devontae Smith had more receptions and yards than A.J. Brown and Jahan Dotson. But still, man, Jalen, Saquon, A.J. Brown, Dotson, and Devontae Smith. Whew. And none of those guys are free agents next year. So, look, this Eagle team they can basically have the same team going into next year. And that's a problem. That's a big problem for the league. Because this is the most talented roster by far in the NFL. And I don't think it's even close. I mean, you got the best running back in the NFL in Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts, I mean, you can argue, he's for sure top 10. That's not debatable anymore. A.J. Brown, top 5 receiver in the league, arguably. Devontae Smith, I mean, having him as your second or third, whatever. And Jahan Dotson, yeah, that's a problem for the Dallas Cowboys in the near future. And I hate to say it, but this Eagle team, man, this Eagle team can be very, very dangerous going forward. Now, I do think a downside for the Eagles going into the next season is losing their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, as I think it was announced, or I don't know if it's officially announced, but it's being talked that he's going to get the head coaching position for the New Orleans Saints. So, it'll be interesting to see what the play calling will look like and who they're going to get for next year. But yeah, man, you got to give a lot of credit to Howie Roseman. And you also got to give a lot of credit to Nick Sirianni, okay? Can't forget about this guy. I mean, it's crazy because earlier in the season, they were talking about possibly firing him because of some of his, off-field or on-the-field antics where he was just yelling at fans, blah, blah, blah. He couldn't rally around the team or whatever. But look, man, ever since Nick Sirianni has gotten to the Eagles and hired by Howie Roseman, Nick has been successful since day one. I mean, he's only had kind of one bad season. The first season that he coached the Eagles, I mean, the Eagles had no business in being in the playoffs that year. I mean, they were considered a rebuilding team. And then Nick took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl, lost that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and now beat the team that beat him in the Super Bowl, and now he's officially a Super Bowl champion. So he deserves his respect too. Nick Sirianni deserved his respect, and a lot of people were bashing him since day one with that, I guess horrible press conference that he had. But he really matches the vibe and the intensity and the energy of Philadelphia. Like if you told me, he's the exact guy you'd think of when a guy coaching the Philadelphia Eagles. So he's worked there, man. He's really worked there and deserves it. And hate to say this as a Cowboys fan, but Philly's going to be a dangerous team, man. They're going to be a dangerous organization going forward. And if Howie Roseman, man, keeps on hitting on his picks and making some pretty aggressive free agent moves, we can possibly see in the next dynasty. Who knows? Who knows? All right, well, let's kind of, talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. And, there's really not a whole lot to, I guess, touch upon from the game. They didn't really do anything, to be honest. I don't know if I mentioned the stat earlier, but Kansas City had 23 total yards at the end of the first half. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid had 23 yards going into the second half. 23 total yards. Travis Kelce had 0 catches in the first half. Matter of fact, I don't know if he ended the game with 0 catches. No, he had 4 receptions for 39 yards. But yeah, he had 0 catches going into the second half. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Philadelphia shut down Kansas City all 4 quarters till the end of the fourth quarter when they decided to put up 2-3 touchdowns. It didn't matter, but yeah, this I guess really what we can talk about for Kansas City is I guess they're being compared to the Patriots dynasty, and that's over with. That's not comparable anymore with this loss. And I guess this does kind of take a dent, into Patrick Mahomes' legacy just a bit, look, Patrick Mahomes, without a doubt, I think he's the 3rd best quarterback of all time. I still put him behind Joe Montana, okay? I still put him behind Joe Montana. And look, you can argue that he is the 2nd best, behind Tom Brady. But for me, I put him behind Joe Montana still. That'll be a whole argument. I should probably make a video on that. But, yeah, look, Patrick Mahomes, like I said, he's now being compared to Tom Brady, right? And if he won this Super Bowl and would have gotten a three-peat, the media would have been talking about, hey, should he be back in the GOAT discussion with Tom Brady? And, with him having 2 losses under his belt against Tom Brady, one while he was in New England and one in the Super Bowl when Brady played in Tampa Bay. So I do think this is a bit of a hit, for Patrick Mahomes. A little bit of a setback. But look, let me look up how old Patrick Mahomes is. This kid's young. This kid still has a lot. I don't know why I'm calling him kid. I'm younger than him. But Patrick Mahomes still has a lot of playing time. Let me see his age. Sorry, real quick. He still has a long career ahead of him. Okay, it's saying 1995. I don't know why it's not giving me. I can't do math here. Let's see. He's 30 years old. Or he will be 30 this year. That's why I'm a sports reporter. I can't do math, guys. But look, Patrick Mahomes is gonna be just fine. I do think going forward, Rashee Rice was obviously a big loss, but I do think they need another receiver. I do think they need to get another big receiver. After, Philadelphia stacking up their team, because look, if you put Patrick Mahomes on that team, that's for sure going to be a dynasty. You know what I mean? If you had Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So I do think Kansas City should add another big free agent receiver. T. Higgins is out there. If they want to continue their dominance and still pursue, that big dynasty, because I do think, Kelsey's getting old. Rashee Rice will, once he gets healthy, that'll help out that offense a lot. But Patrick Mahomes is going to be just fine, guys. So going forward, I still think he got a Super Bowl or two in him. And look, man, even though if he doesn't, reach Tom Brady status as the GOAT, he'll go down as the second best quarterback of all time, without a doubt. Even though I do still think Joe Montana is ahead. He wins another Super Bowl. He has 4 Super Bowls that ties Montana. And he still has, I think he already has better stats, like all-time stats, than Joe Montana. So, yeah, he'll go down easily as the second best quarterback of all time. All right? There's nothing wrong with that, eh? There's nothing wrong with that. All right, now kind of want to talk about a little bit off topic, or still talking about the Super Bowl, but talk about the halftime performance by Kendrick Lamar. And I don't want to dive too deep into this because I don't really listen to his music like that. Nothing against him, just not really a big hip-hop guy. But, people are coming out and that whole living in the moment thing, thinking that this is the best Super Bowl halftime performance. In my opinion, I think the best Super Bowl halftime performance is the Michael Jackson performance. Nothing can beat that, guys. Nothing can beat that. I mean, that set the stage. That set the standard for the Super Bowl halftime performance. Because before Michael Jackson, it used to be just like some Disney shows and them skating on. They would bring like a whole ice rink out and them skating, dancing or whatnot. It was not fun. All right? It was not cool. But then when Michael Jackson, first artist to perform at the Super Bowl halftime performance, the NFL just stuck with that and always brought out some top 5 artists in the world to perform at the Super Bowl. So, I was actually talking with my buddies about this. I don't even know. Do you guys think it's better? Leave a comment down below. Do you guys think if it's better than the the LA Super Bowl where they had Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Mary J. Blige? I thought that was, this Kendrick Lamar one, don't get me wrong, this Kendrick performance was really good. I was actually really surprised that he played They Not Like Us, with how political the NFL can be. And man, Drake can't catch a break, guys. But I thought it was a great performance, though. And Samuel Jackson coming out there, being Uncle Sam, a lot of political things in that halftime performance that I don't really want to break down. It's whatever. That's not my thing. But it was good. It was good. Top 5? Maybe. If it is top 5, it's 5. I mean, and going back to that Snoop Dogg and like Eminem Super Bowl halftime performance, I don't know if it's better than that. So that's just my opinion. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from Kendrick fans out there, but just wanted to kind of continue on that because I'm seeing all over Twitter like saying this is the best like halftime performance. And, I don't know if these are just young guys. And look, I wasn't born during the Michael Jackson prime era, especially when he performed at the Super Bowl. But people don't realize how big that was, how big the Prince halftime performance was. I got to look at the list again, but people don't realize there were some really, really good halftime performances. Is the Katy Perry one up there, the Shark? I don't think so. People were saying that's like one of the worst ones. But no, overall though, guys, it was I guess, cool Super Bowl to watch, especially if you're a Chiefs hater, seeing them win a lot, get blown out here today. As a Cowboys fan myself, it was hard to watch. Philadelphia get their second Super Bowl, man. I remember there was a time where we used to make fun of Philadelphia for not having a Super Bowl for like the longest time. But now, we got 2 Super Bowls. So, and I don't want to make this a whole Dallas Cowboys segment, but hey, Jerry, man, he needs to step up his game. with Philadelphia and their roster they're going to have next year. Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. That's going to be one of the hardest divisions of football. And I don't even know what we're doing. But hey, that's off topic. That's probably going to be for another video. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much going to close out this video for you guys here today. And first and foremost, I just want to thank you guys for clicking on the video today. Just clicking on the video shows support. But hey, if you want to show more support, click that like button and click that subscribe button for me, all right? Because we're going to have a ton of great content, sports content going forward. So I'm super excited for what I have for you guys. So please subscribe. You guys won't be disappointed. But hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And let me know in the comments what you guys want, what we could talk about. I mean, I'm based out here in Vegas, so there's going to be a ton of local Vegas sports content that I will post out there. So if you're a watcher or if you're watching, you live in the Vegas area, this is the channel for you. But hey, for now, guys, I'm Armani Lingo, and we're signing off here from Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll see you guys on the next one. Good night.